Alright, so today I'm going to give you guys a walk around of my car. I know we've been working on the Z and there's videos to come on that, but I got to get this car prepped up for a private day that I'm doing, and why not introduce it to the channel. This is my 2003 G35 drift car. I got this car about four and a half years ago. I ended up selling my Toyota pickup truck that I had, four-wheel drive, sold it for $1,500, and I bought this for $1,500 from a buy here, pay here. And it was auto, had the factory VQ leaks, the whole 9 yards. So I drifted it a while with it being auto. It had an open diff, obviously, as the autos come with open diff, but it was so wore out that it would throw both wheels so I could drift it. I took it to an event, auto, everything like that, and it did great. It was fantastic. I had a lot of fun in it, did a lot of street drifting in it, but now it got to the point where the first thing that I did was I put a manual in it. I bought the whole swap, pedals, everything like that. I put the manual in, I put the VLSD diff in it, and I drove it like that for about a year or so, just under a year possibly. And then that's when I went with the GK Tech angle kit, the super lock kit, but I didn't get the uppers. It has stock uppers, but I did get the lower arms and the angle kit with the rack spacers, and that's been great. What else? I think after that I welded the auto diff because it's a different gear, and we have a track out here in St. Pete called Showtime Speedway, and the auto gearing was a lot better for me to hold second on the bank at Showtime than it was with the VLSD. I was just banging limiter the entire time with the VLSD, but once I put the auto diff in, it would hold RPM and I wouldn't bang limiter so ridiculously. So ended up doing that. After I did that, I'm trying to think, I think I got the rear arms, GK Tech camber, no, tow arm, and then the car came with SCP or something like that, camber arms. And then at that point, a buddy of mine that he had a V8 BMW helped me get a good alignment on it, just through some, used toe plates and a couple things that he had to get alignment on it for the time being. And I drove it like that for a while. Then after that, I ended up doing the dual caliper setup, the hydro. I bought the Chase Bays. I bought the Chase Bays kit, not the kit. I bought the Chase Bays hydro with the master and the reservoir from that same buddy. And then I got the GK Tech line kit and the GK Tech, what is that called again? The adapter for the second caliper and the axle spacers. Got that all in, and it was phenomenal. I do love having a hydro. I also have a diff brace on the rear of this car. This car is basically stock except for test pipes. It has stock exhaust manifold, test pipes, and the cold air intake that came with the car. And I had some coil packs go out, so I just went and bought MSD coil packs just because I ended up putting a catch can on it. And this car actually came with a clutch fan, and I changed that to E fans, and I did a couple other things to it. I'm trying to think all the stuff I did. It's been so long. I've never actually did a walkthrough of this car before. But I got a bash bar, got underglow, nothing too crazy. Literally, when I did the swap, I got the braided clutch line, which you can see there, coming down and going out to the slave. And when I did the initial swap, I put a single mass flywheel, stuff like that I bought. That ended up going out, and then I ended up blowing the trans out of it. And it was a CDO1 from what is like the first manual transmission that they came out with, and then I ended up buying a CDO9 trans for it later on because I blew the original one from the swap. And when I did that, I also got a 6-puck sprung clutch, And typically, realistically, that's all. I also went through, well, actually, I bought the tail lights from an 0506, bumpers from an 0506, this little piece here from 0506, side skirts. My buddy ended up buying a black G35 that came with a 0506 bumper, and you know, nothing special. I ended up crashing into a guardrail with this car at one point. That's why I ended up going with the 0506 hood, the lights, all that stuff. Luckily, I didn't have to change fenders when I did all that. Luckily, this was the same on the 0304s and 0506. But at a fall double down event, I ended up being in the way of a C6 Corvette, and he crashed into me right here at my A pillar and crushed all this stuff in. That's why it looks two different colors, because it is two different colors. Then after that, I did, well, before I got hit, but after all the other modifications, I did a roll cage on the car, because I figured maybe this would be the car that I compete in, but probably not. Still up in the air, because as you know, I got the Z that I'm working on. Maybe that'll be the car that I try to compete in. I don't know. Just trying to have fun and progress with my driving. And when I did the cage, I also deleted my sunroof. And I did get impatient, unfortunately, and it's wavy. So not the best job. If I could go back, I'd probably do it again, but slowly, like I was supposed to do. But I was already done with the cage. I was itching to drive the car, so you know, I don't know, it got the better of me. So, but at that point, that's basically all this car is. Nothing too special, but it does absolutely phenomenal. I love this car. Never had to replace the motor. I was not easy on this car over the years. This car has literally seen limiter like almost every day that I drove it, especially when it was auto and I would have to drift it, and when you know, put it in manual mode, put it in second gear, I'd have to bang limiter so much for it to actually shift into second that every time I would drift the car, it would just see a ridiculous amount of limiter. And I'm very meticulous with the oil changes. I'm very meticulous with all my fluids, checking water, checking everything like that, and it's lasted me this long, no issues. Makes the same noises on startup that it made when I first got it, so cannot complain. So I gotta get it ready. It's raining right now, but I gotta get an oil change done because I'm busy tomorrow, and then Sunday morning is the private day at Orlando Speed World. So hopefully at some point it'll stop raining, but for now, this is my G35 sedan drift car, and you know, we'll get to the oil changes in a little bit. Alright, so it rained the rest of the day yesterday, and I had to do something today out in Tampa. So we're gonna get to the oil change now, and it's starting to sprinkle, but should be able to hold off enough for me to be able to get this oil change done. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop this up, get that useless jack, get the car up, and get this oil changed. We're gonna go ahead and start with this. Pop this off, just so we can drain better. Grab the jack. This thing is almost expired, but it'll still get us through. So I have a bash bar, so I usually just pick it up from the jack point. Here, let me turn on the light. You can see the jack point. So I'm going to put it on the jack point, jack it up, just confirm it. Yep, and jack it up. Let me tighten this jack a little more. I'm telling you, this thing expired. Alright, now that's most of the way up. The drain plugs are 14. And this, I think, is a 1 inch. I will confirm that. Look at that here. 1 inch. Yep, perfect. Grab that. Oh, we could do it with a wrench. Why not? And we'll go ahead and get a oil. Oh, it's over here. Nice. Alright, so the drain plugs are 14. Get this thing off of here. Now let me crack this loose and I'll be right back. Yeah, what a pain, but we got it off. And the jack is lowering. So for some reason there's a tight spot in here. There it goes. Alright. So gotta jack it up again with my legs because this thing is lowering itself. Come on, there you go. Come on. That thing is weird. It's always been like this though. And once I get it past a certain point, it's fine. So, not too bad. So now, we'll just be quick, fast, in a hurry. And go. Perfect. Look at that. Beautiful. Oh, it's a little blacker than I'd like. But it'll be fine. Alright, and we'll grab the wrench and jack this car up again because the jack's losing pressure. And we'll take out the oil filter. Alright. Got our wrench. That's what I like about the K&N filters, is that you just throw a wrench on it. Perfect. Beautiful. Well needed oil change, I will say that. That's darker than I like, but what are you gonna do? I'll take this off, let it drain for a little bit, and then come back and put all the new stuff on. Wow, definitely blacker than I would like. Not ideal. Not ideal whatsoever. Alright, we'll let that drain. So while we're letting the oil drain, this is what I've been using since I got the car. Castrol, regular motor oil, 1040, some Lucas oil stabilizer, and a K&N oil filter. Part number, if you're getting it from O'Reilly's, which I'm pretty sure the part number is the same, but that's the part number. HP 1008. This is what I've been running in this car since I got the car, and this is honestly possibly some of the reasons why I feel like the car has lasted as long as it has, because I'm always checking my oil and I'm always doing oil changes. But this is just what I run. I've seen other people run different stuff, like my buddy, he just started using Pennzoil. This other guy that I know that has another VQ, he uses Mobil 1. I just feel like, you know, with a thicker oil, since I get speed on with the oil stabilizer to help with the cold starts, definitely helps with the life of the VQs and keeping oil in it. Always want to keep oil in it. Another thing that I found too on these VQs, you can't really check the oil when it's hot. You gotta check the oil when it's sat for a good 8 hours. Let me jack this back up because it's losing pressure again. But typically I check my oil before startup in the morning after it's sat all night, and that's when I could read it really well. When I first got the car, I drove to my buddy's house and I started trying to check my oil because I thought it was low. Could not get a good reading for the life of me. I thought I was losing my mind because I would never had a problem with the dipstick, but these cars, I found that the best time to check the oil to get a very accurate reading is when it's cold early in the morning before you leave. So that's just something that I found personally with multiple different VQs, not just mine, with my buddy's VQ, with my other buddy's 350Z. It's just, you gotta do it when the car is cold, been sitting for a while, just so the oil could really get down in there. I don't know what kind of design they made, but it's very hard to know exactly where your oil is at whenever it's been ran and you're just trying to check the oil like a regular car. So go ahead and get back down here. I'm pretty sure the oil's done, so we'll go ahead and put the, I'll prime the filter a little bit. Even though it's sideways, I still like to prime the filter. We'll prime the filter, put the drain plug on, get some oil in this thing. Hopefully your jack is better than mine whenever you're doing this. But let's jack this thing back up. Okay, so I lost its prime again. This jack is definitely not ideal. Alright, we'll do that. Prime this filter real quick. I don't like to do it all the way to the top just to have something in it, just so it's not just completely dry. Get out of here. That fresh oil. See if I can do this with one hand without making a mess. Oh, let's go. So it'll suck it down. Give it a second. I do that like 2 or 3 times. Let's try it again. Don't make a mess. Perfect. While I'm here, I go ahead and just lubricate the seal, just so it's not completely dry. Now we'll come under here. Well, first step, jack the jack back up. Wow, I feel like it's arguably getting worse. Alright, come in here, clean off the surface. Clean off the drain plug a little bit. Go ahead and slide her back in. Wipe it down, even though I got an oil leak at the pan, you know. Tighten this back up. Alright. We'll re-wipe this off. Now, come out. Put the oil filter on. I usually snug it up by hand and give it a little nudge with the wrench, just cause. little nudge, nothing crazy. Alright, so now this is another thing that I do to try to now we'll grab this Lucas oil stabilizer. This is definitely not sponsored, it's just something that I've always done. Give me 1 second here. Take this Lucas oil, slide her up in there. We'll leave it there for a second. I gotta jack this thing back up. While that's over there, we'll pull this out in case the jack goes all the way down. We definitely don't want to make a mess. But I hate to have to clean that up. Now this is something else that I do that not a lot of people do, but I try to get everything out of this. So what I do is I pour some regular oil in it, just trying to make a mess. Hopefully we keep that going. Yeah. Oh. Alright. A little bit of oil in there. Put the cap on. And then we just give it a little shake. Trying to get all the Lucas out of it. Pop it back open. Pour it in. Just trying to get all the Lucas out of it. Alright. Now, if I can not make a mess again, pour some oil in. Come on. I got this, I think. Oh, let's go. Now these motors take 5 quarts of oil. With that Lucas oil stabilizer, we only need 4 quarts of the Castrol. That's where it gets kind of tricky. So we'll be doing that. Oh, I just made a mess, bro. Why am I looking at the phone? Oh no. Alright, let's try this again. Alright, let's look at that. Now, you hear that? Jack losing prime. So we are at 1.5 quarts. Gotta pour a little bit more in there. Put that in there. Double check it. And there's still a little over a quart. Put a little more. And good. I usually try to be just under a quart. That's perfect. Because I did spill a little bit. So, beautiful. Then in the morning or Then when I get to the track, I'll just double check it, make sure. And look at this jack. I didn't even lower it. Wheels back on the ground. That's crazy. So, put the cap back on. Oh, not yet. I gotta clean the oil. Where's my rag go? There it is. Back here. Clean up all this. It's real nice. Alright. Things a whistle. Now that we got some of that rust prevention off of there, we will put this back on. So another thing that I do that not a lot of people do, I'm about to show you now. Jack this back up. Hopefully I don't get crushed. Really time for a new jack. I ain't even gonna lie. Then we'll come under here. Again, hopefully I don't get crushed. And I usually take off my crank positioning sensor. And then turn the motor over just to get some oil pressure. Should have plenty. Now we'll go back down. We'll have enough space. I should have enough space. Go back down. Plug this thing back in. Boom. Perfect. Alright. Let's go start it up. Well, I'll let the jack down now. Even though it let itself down, but whew, it's tight. Perfect. And let's fire it up. Turn the AC on because it's a little steamy in here. Oh, and I have this gauge. It's called an ultra gauge. So like this, I can actually see engine temperature and see what it's doing and stuff like that, because I have my fans to a switch, which are these two switches right here. Whew! Best thing I did was keeping AC in this thing, because man, it's a little humid with all this rain. But now I'll let it warm up. I gotta get my truck, get the trailer, take my wife's car off of the trailer, because that's going to be a whole nother video. Motor almost fell out of that thing, so I think we'll be dropping a video of this, another video of the Z, the drift car build, before I post a video of me fixing her car. But while it's on, and I remembered, check the oil leaks. No leak. No leak. We're good to go. Heck yeah. Alright. So now I'll get prepped and get everything on the trailer, but that's it for today. That's the G35 drift car. Introducing it to you guys, just so you guys know what's going on. Oh, and I test fitted my buddy's battles, because I'm going to be borrowing this for the event. That fitment's fire. With the adapter plate, 18 by 9.5, positive 15. Looks so good. But anyways, like I said, that'll be it. Introducing the drift car and showing you guys what in my opinion has made this motor last as long as it has. It's going 4.5 years strong, almost 5 years. So keep up with your maintenance, keep up with your oil. Always check your oil twice a week, once a week, something. Just check it. Put oil in it, keep oil in it, fresh oil in it, and these things will do you good. These things got a bad rep of being unreliable, but it's just nobody checks the oil. So check your oil, keep oil in it, and I hope to see you next time.